Okay, hello. Good afternoon, guys. I had to take the day because of a breathing test that I had to do. So I am taking advantage of some of this extra time, and I am putting together a an army list, not an army list, a box of Votann. I traded for it last week, and it came in, and so now I am working on putting the last bits together, which included some Hernkin pioneers, I believe they're called. But what it basically means is hover bikers. So I've got the rest of them converted and ready to paint. They've been primed already. So the next thing for me to do is to get to work on these guys. Now I was working on them previously, earlier today, before stream, but ended up having an issue. Well, not an issue. Ended up having to stop because I had to go to an asthma test. This is still going back to the whole I'm having chest problems thing, and the best guess anyone has right now is that I have adult onset asthma, which is fine. It is what it is, but they needed to do one last test to see if that truly is the case. So they had me brought in, and is this supposed to cling to something? Probably not yet. They had me brought in, and they hooked me up to an apparatus, and I basically had to hold in air and then eject air, which was definitely a whole thing. It was an experience. I've never done anything like that before, and I hope I don't ever have to do it again, to be completely honest. That's kind of where I'd like to leave that. Now, right now, what I am doing is looking through some of the bits and bobs because I want to make sure I put this together correctly. So I'm setting it up so that I have my bike set up correctly. Now I'm going to continue with the whole Votann is Among Us meme that I was working on. And what that means, for me at least, is that none of these guys are going to have arms. Well, actually, I take that back. I think some of them are. I think the actual Votann that I go ahead and put together, they're going to have arms because they're going to have human faces and all that good stuff. But the Votann that are very definitely supposed to be Among Us are not going to. I gotta say, I love the fact that they put this guy in a, leather biking jacket. Oh, you were supposed to stick and you did not. On top, or a fur-lined jacket on top of his, Votann spacesuit. We're gonna stick that together and hope it actually sticks this time. 1, 2. So with that being said, one thing that they did with the breathing test is they gave me a medicine that I was supposed to inhale, like a chemical of some kind, and then they would wait for 4 minutes, and then they would make me do the same breathing test once they got their control numbers down and ready. And what that did was it apparently just kind of closed up my brain can. It kind of closed up my my lungs and made it increasingly difficult to breathe. So I've been dealing with that. They gave me some albuterol afterwards, but I'm definitely still feeling chest pain. I'm still having a hard time with the whole breathing thing. So hopefully I will feel better. But right now, I am not feeling especially cash money. Okay. Oh yeah, in the front of that too. Some of the work is unfortunately going to have to be done off camera because I need to keep things close to me, because it is really weird trying to do some of the finer motor skills with my hands away from my chest. But that's not too important, I suppose. At the very least, I can keep talking. So what I ended up doing, because Among Us don't really have arms, is But a lot of the guys who are carrying two-barreled or two-handed guns, like rifles and the like, I just went ahead and chopped off the hands at the wrist and attached it to their torso. But for the rest of these guys, I'm going to have to come up with a little more creative a solution. And what that ends up being, which looks incredibly silly, is I've been using little bits and bobs of paperclip as like floating armature, which I can then, you know, just kind of glue into the different limb sockets. So while it's obviously not perfect because their arms aren't truly floating, it at least gives the visual language that their arms are supposed to be floating. Whoops, that went right through to his... Yeah, it did. Went all the way through to his knuckle. That's okay. No one is going to notice. Where is he? Okay, so this one right here, not going to matter as much. I will say, if you don't have it, I could not suggest any stronger to get a WoW stick. This thing has been absolutely fantastic for doing pilot holes and the like with the modeling and the 40K. Okay, I think I am squeezing this thing dry. There's no real reason for me to continue fighting this one super glue bottle because I'm pretty sure it's out or close to out. And please shake that up a little bit, bring it further down. Okay. Get a little bit in there. And this is probably going to be comically long, which will make it even funnier to me as far as I'm concerned. There we go. And we're gonna... Actually, that might be too long. I don't want it to be that long. Yeah, that's obscene. So we're gonna cut that back a little bit so he has somewhat realistic proportions. There we go. Uh-oh, I'm stuck. And we're gonna just slather that on there. Where'd his gun hand go? Wow. I straight up lost it in like those 2 seconds. There it is. Okay, and we're just gonna we're just gonna go ahead and put that right there. And I guess he's going to be holding on to his gun that way. Can I push this further back so that maybe it blocks up the knuckle? Yes, but now it looks like he's Tupacing it. Let's go ahead and do that. There we go. And there's his little gun hand. So that's gonna end up looking fantastic once I'm done with it. I also have this to put on him because the joke for me is that this specific kin of Votann, the specific group, found a planet that they were going to extract the resources from, and on that planet there were a bunch of bipedal, short, armless individuals that seemed to be very excited they were there. And so they willingly gave over the planet to the Votann, and also gave them, or like showed that they were very willing to defend themselves and help save the Votann from the local megafauna. So the Votann decided that, well, you guys can fight. We're always looking for new fighters. We're going to go ahead and take you and recruit you. And they were all extremely happy about this and waved their limbless hands around in the air excitedly. But then, when they brought them to their Votann, it immediately expressed, like, extreme concern, and then kind of glitched and said, nope, they're normal, they're perfect. There's nothing suspicious about these lads. So the Votann are like, oh, or the League is just like, okay, well, that's fine, I guess. And so now they are using these, okay, there we go. They're now using these guys as part of their workforce. Now, some of them look a little funny, and some of them definitely have some issues, but they don't seem to care. As long as they help the Votann make a profit, they do not care. Okay, what's next? Now it's telling me that I can go ahead and put whatever gun I want on it. I already know what gun I'm putting on it. So I'm going to flip over to the next page. Oh, it wants me to put on... Did I skip a page? No, it wants me to go ahead and put together the handlebars, which should be somewhere on here, but I do not see them. I see the gun. Interesting. This sprue does not have it. This sprue have more than one set of handlebars? Let's see. Must be losing my mind. Because I know I didn't already chop it off. The handlebars are pieces D55 and D20, or yeah, D55 and D26. I found D26. That was an easy find. Where is D55? There's D59, which I think I'm going to use in a little bit, and 58, 51, 53. There's 55. Okay, I found it. And kind of the same thing here. Once I get the steering or the steering handles attached to the bike, I'm just going to cut off the dude's arm, and we're going to be A-okay. I'm having way too much fun with these shenanigans. I'm going to leave a little early today, though, because one thing I want to do before I keep forgetting is I want to take some really nice pictures of my Imperial Fist army as I have it, so I can submit it to the Anna Morning Challenge that Doig, or not the Anna Morning Challenge, the Community Day that Doig and Swift do. Because I definitely went pretty big last time with a very large unit, and I kind of figured I don't know how I'm going to one-up that. So the way I think I'm going to do so is not with... Okay, how does this fit on here? Oh, okay. It goes like this. Which I know you can't really see, but that's okay. Since I made just a big old model last time, I'm going to go with a large number of models as opposed to one big one. Because I really don't have a big one I've been working on. It's been nothing but smaller scale stuff. Okay. So this part's going to go away. I don't need that. In fact, here it goes. Goodbye. Whoop. And now it's just going to be a hand steering the thing with no arm attached to it. And that way I won't have to line it up with the call, or with, not with the call, with the rider either. So that's going to look really nice, I hope. Now, if I recall properly, this is just going to slide on right here. Right here? Yeah, okay, that's going to go right there. And this guy, I think he can't fit in unless he's like that. So what I think I'm going to have to do with him is put him in, and then put the, yeah, this is going to get in the way of him. So this is going to go right there. And see, I am confident enough in my meager abilities to just go ahead and glue this guy right in and worry about painting him later. Because I am an imbecile. Okay, and he's got those depressions, so he'll fit right in there. This can go right over here. A little bit of that stuff. And then we can just slide this right on top, and hopefully it will all fit together. And there's the lad. There's my boy. Someone recently gave Games Workshop a lot of kudos for how skillfully they're hiding seams on their new models. And I gotta agree, their stuff is looking pretty good. It's unfortunate that I'm apparently personally going out of my way to ruin it. This will have to go in with the rest of the Votann bag, which I don't remember where I put it right now. So I'll have to just throw it over here. But yeah, the general plan is to do the exact same thing to every one of these guys. And actually, I didn't realize it when I was first looking at it, but the instructions actually call for you to make 3 of everything all at once, which I guess was their way of saving space because it's the exact same model every time, right? So why bother creating extra pages of make this thing when the instructions are identical for all 3 bikes? So I'm going to go ahead, snip those out, shave them down so that they're nice and pretty, and then assemble them as well. And if anyone shows up that's interested, I'll go ahead and show off my other Votann then. Now the plan is, this is not going to be my most beautiful army. I don't want it to be. What I'm going to be doing instead is I'm going to speed paint the foot units like I did with my first set of Votann, and then I'm going to do a really nice job on the Arnheir Champion or the Hearthkin Champion or whatever they're called. I don't know the names of these units. And the DHQ, which I think is Uthar. So my hope is that it'll all look good. And that since it's an HQ unit, it'll be worth, prettying up. But otherwise, I'm not too worried, since they're, I'm not making this entirely for the memes, but at the same time, most of the Votann are going to be for the memes. What I definitely thought was kind of fun was that the person who traded me the army, which I've mentioned on Twitter, they definitely did the thing where they put helmets on pretty much every one of their troops. And I did that too with mine, obviously, because I was trying to make them all, Amogus crewmates. And so it just ended up working out that we both kind of had the same intention, or the same idea, but his worked because of his lack of confidence with painting faces. But either way, it worked out. Though I would have very much enjoyed if I had a bunch of regular Votann who were fighting alongside the crewmates. Like, man, these guys look pretty sus. I do have 2 Votann who were the imposters, and unfortunately they're very clearly imposters, so I'm just going to have to deal with them looking very different than the rest of the crew. And we'll see if my opponents can spot the imposter in my groups of Votann when I put them on the table. And also, I made the mistake of joining Twitter recently, and one of the biggest things about it that I've seen is there's a lot of anti-trans and anti-LGBTQ hate on there, which pisses me off to no end. But, it's just a giant receptacle for rage. So, I'm doing my best to kind of ignore it, but at the same time, I'm going to be a little bit of a shitlord, and I am definitely going to paint my HQs up using the very bright and fun colors of at least 2 of the flags. And I might do that for even more units, because why not? Okay, so you are going to go that way, and you are going to go that way. And anyone who doesn't like it, well, they can go ahead and play their own game of 40k with people who agree with them. But as far as I'm concerned, I want to make this a safe space, and I want to be as inviting as I can to those who otherwise would feel uncomfortable joining the hobby. Okay, that's good. What? Oh. I must have already cut this out and forgotten. Oops! That explains why I couldn't find it on the sprue sheet earlier. Because I'm illiterate. But yeah, I was really, really darn excited to get these yesterday. Though I also ended up getting Chthonian Berserkers completely by accident. The person who sold me the models, well, who traded me the models, accidentally packed them in with everything, I guess in his rush to get the models to me, since I was so prompt about mine. And he was like, you know, I'll work out something with the other person I'm trading stuff for. And he seemed pretty crestfallen. I was like, well, you know what? You gave me free models, and that just doesn't feel right. So how about I help you pay for a new box of those guys so that you can get them to the other client or your other person you're working with, because that just doesn't seem fair to me, that because you screwed up you've now got to pay like an extra $60. So I did that as well, and they seem to be really appreciative, and I don't know, just made my day. I just like helping people, I guess. In the meantime, I'm going to keep putting these little rinky-dinky horrible things together, and we'll see how all this looks. Now, if you've never worked with plastic cement before, which I'm kind of assuming you have if you're watching a Warhammer channel, it melts the plastic together and then kind of allows it to fuse, so that when you press on it together like so, I'm not good enough to get rid of the seam, but it definitely chemically bonds everything together, right? And that way you have a much stronger seam than you would otherwise. So that is done, and that is done. What is next on this thing? Looks like the headlight and the 2 foot pads. Making the headlight is just D11, it looks like. So we're gonna go ahead and find the headlights, which I've lost them. Where are the headlights? Are there more headlights on this page? Nope, no more headlights there. There's 9 and 10. This is the worst part, and also the best part about playing the 40K like this. Found the headlights. Is the assembly. I love doing assembly, and I love seeing like these ridiculous spider webs that are sprues come together to make models in my vision. You know what I mean? That was something that I was actually very appreciative of the person who I traded with, is even though he had clearly assembled all the models except for the bikes, something that he did was he glued it all together with regular glue instead of liquid cement. So it was remarkably easy to tear off the bits and bobs I didn't like and do it again. And so I still got to have that moment of kind of crafting and altering and changing things to how I want them to be. And honestly, that's a very fun feeling for me. So I was really glad I got to do that. Okay. Wait, where do these go? Oh, they go on the front. Okay, fair enough. Now, the only problem I'm having is that this glue has a fairly strong chemical smell, and my nose hates it. So I'm kind of having to deal with that. One thing I am going to do just for funsies is I'm going to do some OSL lighting on these things, object source lighting, just because I like how object source lighting looks. I think it adds a whole new dimension to the model, and even though I'm not a master at it or anything, I am remarkably okay at best at doing it. Even when it's not done well, it still adds quite a bit to the model. Okay, 11 and 12, or 12 and 13. 12 and 13. Now, don't get me wrong, I know that I'm working on yet another new thing, and I still have a lot unfinished, but unfortunately, that's kind of how my brain works. I get very excited about projects, and then I work on them, and if I'm lucky, I finish them. If not, they kind of linger until I get around to finishing them. But hopefully, my plan is I'm going to prime these guys, and before I actually start painting them, I'm going to get back to working on other projects. Because the only reason I even have these is because I traded my Tau for them, which were not models I was super proud to own, and I honestly hadn't really touched since, or in like many years, other than to be like, hey, these are my models. So at some point I wanted to sell them. I wanted to get rid of them. And so the fact that I essentially got, you know, $260 worth of models out of the deal was pretty darn sweet. the person who sold them to me, sold me his models, not only gave me the models, he also gave me the army book, he gave me the judgment tokens, the data cards, which are the strategy cards, which I know are going to be useless soon, but still, they're nice to have. I like collecting that kind of stuff, even if after a while it goes horribly out of date. Because now I at least have them. And I mean, to be honest, I don't really plan on playing a game with these Votann models anytime soon. That's not really the point. The point for me is kind of just having them for fun, being able to do fun things with them. I'll eventually use them on tabletop because I'm interested. But right now, I forgot to... No, I didn't. Right now, it's more about making dumb shit with them. You know what I mean? So that's my whole shtick right now, is how stupid can I make these things in a way that makes me laugh and makes my friends laugh. And hopefully makes the internet laugh. Because the internet seemed to like my original Among Us crewmates, made out of Votann Hearthkin. So hopefully they will enjoy these new guys once I'm finished with them. And much to my joy, hopefully, putting them together on stream will also, or putting some of them together on stream will also bring you guys joy. If, you know, my fingers would actually do what I'm asking them to. Okay, there you go. Now, a lot of people want to give Games Workshop crap because it's like, people are catching up to your models and, you know, they're getting better at making them and soon you're going to be surpassed and your prices are going to be seen as too much, which in a lot of ways I feel they are. But beyond that, I do have to give credit where credit is due. Games Workshop makes amazing, amazing models. So, I can't be too angry at them, you know what I mean? Especially since they, you know, they don't expect you to buy every single thing in their line. They just have such a huge release pattern that even though it would obviously be better for them if you just threw money at them whenever a new model came out. Hey Pilkey, how's it going? You don't need to buy every one of them. So it's kind of neat to see what they have come out and see how much it is and just kind of a la carte their stuff. Now that I finished that thought, how you doing? I'm struggling a little today on the generally being conscious thing. I had an asthma test, which I've never done before. Finishing up some models. Ho ho ho! So, I don't know if you saw it or if I've talked about it yet, but I now have more Votann because I traded my Tau to someone who wanted to have a finished painted army that they didn't have to work on, or essentially the starter box of Votann, and they accidentally gave me a bunch of their what you call it? I'm sorry, my brain died. Gave me some Berserkers too. So I now have my own Votann. And I am making them all Among Us. Well, as many of them as I can. I am making as many Among Us as I can get my hands on. And that's kind of what I'm working on today. Where'd the other ones go? I had more handles. There they are. And I've had to come up with some creative solutions in regards to, you know, how some of them have a single gun aloft. Or are holding on to a weapon one-handed or whatever. I've had to come up with some fun solutions to make that work on the infantry. And it makes them look really chintzy and weird, and I kind of love it. So I've just continued with it. You're basing your Berserks? Very cool. I think, yeah, your snow pattern is going to look fantastic when all is said and done. And I can't wait to see it. Are you getting these ready for the not the community? Yeah, the community day. Because these guys are not going to be anywhere near close to done. And I'm probably not going to even want to show them off until then. But, oh my god, I just had the piece. Where did it go? I hate this. This is like Legos. Why are you like Legos? Yep, it's gone. I've lost it. I hate that this happens. So I'm going to try and take pictures of my Imperial Fist army before I before I leave today to go get dinner and whatnot. There it is. But I know for a fact, once I finish with these guys, I am very definitely going to have them for a community day. I'm not done with my Imperial Fist army yet, regrettably, but I am at a point where I can post an army of them and have, or I can post most of them and have someone go, wow, that's a lot of stuff. Okay, I gotta let that pinch because the seam didn't collect very well. There we go. So, check this out. One moment. Where did I put them? I've already forgotten the things. You know how I did my Among Us guys like this, and I did this a while ago, and I've just been happy to have these, and that's been it. I've gone further. We may do our Pioneers for the same community day as they're next to my to-do list. The Votann, I'm having a lot of fun with them. They're super fun to put together. Hey, so quick, how's it going? But here's the thing I found out, Pilkey. If you cut off their arms, then they look absolutely perfect holding on to their little guns. And that to me is really funny. But on top of that, it's like, okay, well, what are you doing about the sergeants? They have, like a pistol and a sword, right? Well, behold. I love it. I love how these guys look so much, and I'm just using like bent paper clips to do this, and it looks so silly and weird. The only things that look normal are the Berserkers and the champion and the other guy whose name I'm forgetting, Uthar, I guess. They're the only ones that look normal. Yes, these are my future Among Us, because I have the original ones that I painted, back in November or so. There they are. And I was really happy with how they turned out, but then I saw someone selling Votann, and they wanted like a painted Tau army, which I had, so we traded, and now I've got a whole bunch of Votann that I'm continuing the army with. So that means I'm going to have to cut out and then assemble and then cut the arms off of the guns for my original Among Us, and we'll see how that goes. Now, I will be honest, something I kind of wish I could have done is taken the Berserkers and just, like, chaosified them and be like, oh yeah, these are the Berserkers. They're angry. But they came fully assembled, and I'm not gonna do that kind of deep surgery to them. So I'm just content with the silliness that I've already put together. My hands are gonna disappear every now and again because I need to be able to cut out and drill and whatnot, and I don't feel comfortable doing that with them as far out as they'd have to be to get caught on camera. So I apologize for that, but hopefully you guys are having a good time doing what you're doing. Yeah, I haven't been this excited in a bit. This is the problem with 40K, is it generally gives me that serotonin boost and makes me want to do new things and spend more money. So I'm kind of lucky that I haven't had to spend a red cent for these guys. Okay, now if I remember right, is this the smaller barrel? Will this work? No, that'll work. Okay, cool. And all I had to do was get rid of some models that I was not using at all, because I do plan to actually use this as a fight on like 10th edition. I do plan on actually playing these guys and buying more so I can continue with the stupid Among Us thing, but they're not my priority to play with. Okay, we're going to use the WoW stick to go ahead and drill us a little barrel so that sells. And we're going to put this in here. 10th edition, yes. 9th edition of 40K is the current edition. It's the one that's out right now, where they've been releasing codexes and units for, but they are currently gearing up for 10th edition to come out in the summer. And 10th edition is going to use the same models and everything. And from what I understand, the core rules are going to be free, and the not codexes, what the heck are they called? The indexes for each of the armies are going to be free. Like they're simplifying, they're streamlining the game quite a bit, making it a little bit less having to research your army because it has an encyclopedia of references. So hopefully that will make the game easier to play, more like approachable for people who have never played before, and just more accessible in general. But one of the biggest things that they've announced is that obviously the codexes are going to come out as they're doing another reset. That's a good way of putting it, because 7th edition apparently had a lot of problems, and they were like, okay, let's just reset everything with 8th edition. 8th edition is going to have almost a whole new game. And all the army rules are changing, nothing is carrying over. So be ready for that. And that's kind of what 10th edition is going to be doing as well. Ah, whoa, that was dangerous. So, like, I just got the codex for the Votann because it came with the box. That codex is essentially just going to be a really nice art book with some fluff in it, because none of it is going to matter for 10th edition. Instead, they're going to release like an index with information on all the current units and their stats and whatnot. And that'll have to hold me over until they release a Votann codex for the 10th edition. But my understanding is that they're all... One moment, I'm looking at things. They're also going to make it so that trying to play an army will be much easier to get into. So I'm looking for 7 and 8. Let's do these one at a time. 7. No, that's 8. 7 over here. And so if you actually haven't played any of 40K, 10th edition, if you wait until 10th edition, that'll be a pretty good place to start. That's my understanding. 7 right here. Sorry if I'm a little bit learning a new game sounds like... Well, it's not whole new. Like, a lot of the core ideas are going to be the same. You know, how you move, how you shoot. A lot of the terminology is going to be similar, but they're tweaking the game quite a bit to make it a little bit less cumbersome. Yeah, like Pilky said. So, like, right now, to play the game, there are, 7 phases, I believe? There is the command phase, is it the psychic phase next? And then the movement phase. I don't remember the order, to be completely honest, because I haven't played the game in a while. But there's, 7 phases, and it's, command, then movement, then psychic, then shooting, then charge, then fight, then morale. And that was a lot. And so what they're doing with all that is they're bringing it down to 5 phases. They've gotten rid of the command, move, psychic, shooting, charge, fight, morale. Okay, cool. I did get it right, I think. But they're getting rid of the command phase, I believe. They're getting rid of the psychic phase, and I think they've changed the morale phase to make it easier to do. And now a psyker will just kind of have their abilities tattooed in their data card, their unit card, with pretty fairly clear instructions on when you can use the psychic abilities. I'm really out of it today. The more I think about it, the more I realize I am loopy as sin. It shouldn't be. Like, the core gameplay is very similar, is my understanding. It's just that they're trying to streamline it down. They've said before that it's, I think they called it simplified, not simple, or streamlined, not simplified. Yeah, it's one of those things that if someone were to explain it to me, I'd be overwhelmed and confused, which is kind of what happened with 8th. And it took me playing it a few times to kind of get the flow of the game before I was like, okay, I can do this. And that's how Warhammer kind of works. 5th to 6th to 7th to 8th. I only played a few games in 9th. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I've done like 5, maybe a dozen games of 9th at most, if that. And was not my favorite thing, unfortunately. Okay, so that goes there, that goes there. Next thing I need to do The other sides. Oh, no, I was supposed to put the floaty disc on front, so I need 16, 17, and 18. I'm going way out of order here because I'm very tired. So there's 18. My hope is that because the game is being made a little more approachable and a little more streamlined, that it allows more people to play. That's kind of my thing. I really, really wish that I had gotten to play the game back at like 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th edition, just to kind of see the evolution of it. But unfortunately, that's not what happened, so I just kind of get to deal with what I see. I don't know, I have a feeling I'm going to be one of those guys when 11th edition comes out and I'm going to whine about that. Who knows? I hope I don't become one of those old guard types that's like, well, the game's changing and now it's worse. Bah, 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 bah. I know too many people like that. Okay, what else am I looking for? 17, that's it. I can go there since that's the same one. Warhammer Fest is very soon, isn't it? If I remember right, that's where they're finally going to have playable demos of 10th edition. And so that's where we're really going to get to see how the game runs and hear what people have to say about it. And I am excited to hear. That's this that's this weekend, I believe. And so I will be listening with bated breath to hear what kind of fun things that they have done to the game. I definitely really like some of the additions they've been kind of drip feeding us, and I hope that the game ends up exceeding expectations. I wonder if anyone leaks like the data cards or the core rules if they're gonna hire Pinkertons to go rough them up like Wizards did. I still can't believe that was real. I thought that was a meme. Did you guys hear about that? Because I don't remember if you play Magic the Gathering at all. But you know, same nerd space. Friggin' Wizards of the Coast hired Pinkertons to find the person who leaked all of the next set. And I don't know what they did to him, but I think it was just to retrieve the cards or something. But my goodness, that escalated quickly. And it was just made even funnier by the fact that, you know, they just got over the whole 1D&D fiasco with the with them wanting to change the SRD so that it was or the OGL license so that people couldn't use it to make games unless they paid a substantial fee. So hopefully that changed. Yeah, Snowtwig. I honestly, I'd heard the word Pinkertons before, but I had no clue what it was. And Pilkey can probably give you a much better summary of it, but someone who is not an employee of Wizards of the Coast basically got the entire card list, like all of the cards from the next set of their Magic the Gathering game, right? And they spoiled them on a YouTube channel. And in response to that, Wizards hired Pinkertons, which is a private investigation service, I think. And they tracked down this person and, like, made them give back the cards, I hope is as far as it went. But it's like, I don't know what Pinkertons is actually known for. I did a quick Google search when I realized it wasn't fake news or like, you know, a shit post. But the joke is now that they, like, beat the shit out of the guy and took the stuff. Okay, good. They didn't actually physically assault him. This pleases me. But they tracked this person down using a private investigation service. That's pretty intense. So yeah, like, union busting. Ugh. They're known for union busting. Okay. I appreciate the input. I legitimately had no clue what they were about, and now I know, and now that's even worse. I told my wife, and she was like, I thought they didn't exist anymore. Yeah, Wizards of the Coast is really kind of losing a lot of goodwill amongst its fans, which it spent, you know, literal decades building up. But they've not only alienated all of the third-party developers of different games that use the the gaming license, they've now also, I guess, pissed off the fans who don't want to get the shit beaten out of them by Pinkertons. I really don't know. I've been too out of it to really pay too close attention. All I know is that stuff's a little bit intimidating. Okay, D19 and D21. Remind me to never piss off Wizards of the Coast, because the next thing I know, they're probably going to hit my dog with a car. Just remember, collectible card games are big business. It's like, I don't know how true this is, but it's like hearing that the Italian mafia makes most of its money through the olive oil industry. Again, I read this a long time ago. I don't know how true it is, but it's of all the things, right? That's not where you would expect that, like, the Italian freaking mafia would make most of its money. But if that is the case, that is very interesting. Or very strange. Or it's like the whole thing about Al Capone. He wasn't taken down for any of his, you know, numerous other crimes. It was tax evasion. So I guess in that case it makes sense. Was it Al Capone? I don't remember things anymore. I'm getting too old and senile. What goes on next? Nothing right now. So on this side, same story. It's going to be D21 and D19, which I'll then shave back down. That was the easiest way for them to get them. Yeah, that makes sense. You know, that's the one that you can pretty verifiably say, yes, this is the person who did it. You know, it's kind of like right now, the attorney or not the attorney, New York was trying to nab former President Trump via his failure to, or his use of campaign funds to pay off a porn star with hush money because of his liaisons with her, something like that. I'm not going to delve too deep into politics here on that end, other than I hate the man, and I'm happy they got him for something. But that was essentially the case, was that nothing else seemed to really stick to him, because he was really good at using mafia talk to make other people take the fall. But it turns out that when he wrote the check to this woman, or whatever, he used money that was supposed to be used for the presidential campaign, not for personal use. And so that's what it sounds like they nabbed him on. Okay, what am I looking at? Okay, I'm looking at 8. And 10. That's what that's for. That's right. But yeah, if anyone had told me many years ago that a president was going to be arrested and put on trial for misappropriation of campaigns funds for use of hush money to pay off a porn star, I would never have guessed that. But apparently that's what happened. And there's a million other charges that they have against him that they're going to try and hit him with while they have him. But American politics have become more and more of a circus show as I've gotten older, so take that for what you will. But anyway, going back to this, I gotta say, there was one thing that I always forgot about putting together these models, especially anything bigger than like a trooper, is the intense amount of shaving and sanding you need to do to smooth everything out. I always forget that's a thing, and I'm always excited to put these together until I get to that, and my brain just suddenly goes, yeah, well, now I don't want them. You know what I mean? It's a lot of work, and it always feels like it's too much work. Okay, that's fine for what it is. Oh, yeah. No, I need to pin this on here. I forgot about that. So you're gonna go... Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, the shock goes in the front. So that's gonna go there. And same thing on this one. It's also a right side, I guess. Oh yeah, this stuff always ends up looking so cool when it's done. Don't get me wrong. I'm just a baby. I think part of the problem also is that the plastic glue definitely has a smell to it. And I've had a headache pretty much all day. And it's not really happy. You never shave or file them? Well, it definitely saves you a lot of time if you don't. I've gotten to that point where I've become really anal retentive about all my models, because I want them to look as good as I can physically make them, which is why my painting has slowed down so much, and the like. But, it definitely helps with the appearance if someone picks it up and like, really looks at it. And my other thing is that, I noticed it with a friend who was putting together his Primaris Outriders. If you don't do it, sometimes parts don't stick together properly. You know what I mean? If you give me a second, let me shave that down. I can actually show you an example of that. Where are my Outriders? There, boys. Okay, let me see if I can find his real quick. There's one of my yellow Chief Riders. Oh no, it's into a 50. Yeah, like that. Okay, these are not great examples because I think I went back and fixed them, but like the casing over the gun mount, his used to be ridiculously separated, and I had to shave it down, and with mine I shaved it down and pinched them together, which allowed them to be a little closer. They're even actually supposed to be closer than that. This used to be very, very separated, but it's not anymore. Got to get rid of the mold lines and fill in the gaps. Yeah, that's kind of my thing, is that I'd like for them to look as clean as possible, and so having all that stuff makes it very difficult. So again, it's not something you have to do if you really don't want to be bothered, because you know they're plastic toys and they're yours, so do what you want with them, right? But if you really do care about trying to make them look as good as possible on a personal level, then it is something you might want to consider doing. Finish the sides of varnish. Let's see what this looks like. I'm excited. Oh man, that snow medium looks so good. Oh, that's one thing mine didn't have. He didn't have the he didn't have those dudes. One moment, let me not the image slideshow, that's not what I care about. Window capture 2. Badoom, badoom, badoom. Look at those boys. Gosh, the skin on those looks fantastic. The snow effects. Yeah, mine didn't come with some of these models. He just gave me 5 of, like, these guys. It didn't come with this whole getup. And it definitely didn't come with, those little mines. So, I think it was because he just threw them in there and completely forgot, but I'm glad to see the whole thing put together. It's mostly just contrast. That's all you need on skin, man. I mean, if you can do better if you really want, but you really don't need to. It looks great regardless. So yeah, I might ask and be like, hey, were these supposed to come with this and the other? And if they are, I'll definitely pay for shipping for them. But it doesn't look like he included those in the box, because he sent everything kind of wrapped up with in the Leagues of Votann army box. And I'll be honest, I'm happy he did, because I like the fact that I now don't have to buy those units, but he didn't give me any of the sprues for those guys. Okay, let's go ahead and shave that down. But yeah, Snow Twig. So the thing is that I'm assuming that since you don't trim or sand at all, you also nip as close as you can to the model on the sprue. And the problem is that if you do that, you end up leaving these weird divots all over the model where the clippers kind of bit in or tore out stuff from, right? And so that also kind of looks a little funky. And of course, like I said, this is all quibbly stuff. So if it's working for you, then you don't need to worry about that at all. But some people, myself included, don't like that on their models, so that's why they'll kind of... And you can actually see it from how I just did that. You can see I lift hunks of the sprue on there, and that way I can take the knife, shave it off, and shave it smooth, instead of having, like, little divots and depressions in the model because I snipped it too close. And that's entirely a personal preference. If you're entering like a painting competition or whatever, then yeah, that's how you want to do it. But if you're not worried about that, you just want to play games with your models, then do whatever you need to do to get them on the table. That stuff's hard enough, right? So don't think that your stuff's any lesser or whatever because you chose to do it a different way. What this does make me want to do, though, is it makes me want to get back into Gunpla. I think I might have mentioned that previously, but I very briefly got into Gunpla with an ex-girlfriend, and that was before I knew anything about modeling and painting. So first of all, I didn't paint anything, and second of all, I was using nail clippers to pull the bits off of the sprues, and that was its own look. I got a bit closer than that in many cases, but you make liberal use of liquid green stuff to gap fill. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Liquid green stuff is amazing for that. I've been told I should use sprue goo, and I definitely understand why, but I'm lazy. In some ways, I'm really anal retentive, in other, I'm lazy, and I honestly don't get it myself. But I think I'm scared of just messing it up and adding a lot more extra time to my project builds, and I kind of don't wanna. I found a workflow that works for me, and so that's what I go through. But I feel like not adding the sprue goo or not adding the green stuff is hurting my models. You know what I mean? Because I've seen what it does. It makes them look beautiful. Wait, that's not what I wanted, was it? That's not the piece I wanted. 56. That is not the piece I wanted. Okay, pulled out the wrong piece. I want 50. 56 is going to be for the guy who's standing on the turret. So I'm going to... Actually, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to help him out, too. Full-grown bleed. Sprue goo, yeah. So what sprue goo is when you start running low on like Tamiya thin cement, which, like I mentioned earlier, it melts down the plastic and kind of molds it together. You take like a couple of sprue bits and you put it in the last amount of Tamiya cement, right? And it creates kind of this goop. Sorry, give me a second. Yeah, it creates kind of this goop that you can then use to fill in gaps and molds and whatnot. And then you can just kind of sand it out because it's basically the same plastic as what you were just messing with. Liquid green stuff does a very similar thing, but it's kind of its own thing. It's its own product. Sprue goo you make using a near-empty bottle of plastic cement and some leftover sprue bits you have. I often try to put a bit too much glue on to squeeze out, then smooth out as I assemble the model. Yeah, that's something that I used to do, and it was a really, really good idea back when I was using Games Workshop's plastic cement. But ever since I started using Tamiya, it tends to go on so thin, I don't do that as often anymore. But again, it's something I should go back to, because everything you do with your models, Pilkey, is like really friggin' smart. And I've just become increasingly lazy with parts of my workflow. Okay, I keep forgetting that the, I hope I was supposed to cut that off. If not, that's okay, I guess. That the camera is on the right side of the of the phone that I'm using right now. And so I keep kind of wanting to drift off to the left because that's where I'm used to having to center in, because I used to have my camera peeking in from the left. So I apologize if it's going all 11 years of modeling will do that for you. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for about a quarter of the time you have. So it definitely makes sense that you've got all sorts of tricks to your workflow. Now what I'll do is, you see how there's still a seam there, is I might go back and add some like so, and then I'll start squeezing it, which gets a very similar kind of response to a reaction to what you do. And then once I have that, I'll take the hobby knife and I'll scrape some of it away. But yeah, I need to get better about covering up my seams the way that you do it, because there's just... Is this the right one? Am I used... No, this is the right one. Because it's too obvious when you don't do it, and it doesn't take a whole lot of extra work to clean it up. Okay. Get on there. There we go. But yeah, I mentioned it before you got on stream, but I had I think I mentioned it again, but I had a breathing test for the asthma stuff, and they kept putting a chemical in me that may score the parts that are going together, helps it melt more. Oh yeah, that is true. If you add those score marks and whatnot, it increases the surface area that the cement can hit, which allows it all to melt and meld in together better. Okay, so this guy, if I recall properly, he's going to be the one on the turret, on the leader bike. So I'm just going to go ahead and get him ready really quick and get this assembled so I don't have to worry about it later. Grandfather Nurgle, how's it going? You bring the blessings of Nurgle? Very cool. I appreciate it as a Death Guard player who has... I think like over 2,000 points of Death Guard, just kind of sitting in a box right now, waiting to spread the gifts. But right now, I am working on an army of Votann that are going to have a very special appearance to them. If you give me a second, this can go in like so. This can go in like so. This can go here. Okay, now that that's starting to dry, but check this out. A few months ago, for stuff you really need to stick, add glue, stick them all together, then pull apart for a little bit before pushing together again. It can help activate the glue faster and produce a stronger bond. Yeah, because it melts down the surface bit, and when you pull it apart, it kind of extends out and squidges it. So when you put it back together, it makes a much better, like, contact spot. So Grandfather Nurgle, what I did was I bought a set of Hearthkin a long time ago, and I turned them into Among Us. And so 8 armies, including the Death Guard. That's pretty impressive. It also oxidizes something or other. Yeah, that too. It helps like cause the glue to activate better in general. So I have a squad of these guys, and I recently traded for essentially an entire army box of Votann. And so I started putting them together. And now I've got Among Us, you know, army guys. And so once I paint all those guys and everything, they're going to look great. But in the meantime, I'm putting the bikers together so that I can get them all Among Us-ized as well. The only units I don't think are going to be Among Us themed are going to be the Chthonian Berserkers, since they were already fully assembled. And eventually, as I start buying more, I'm going to do everything I can to make them Among Us-ized. And hopefully, they'll all look fantastic. And actually, I'm not just going to brush over the fact that you have 8 armies, Grandfather Nurgle. What are those 8 armies? I am deathly curious. I've only been in this hobby for a few years, so I've managed to gather up a few armies, but 8 just seems like such a far out there number. And I know Pilkey's got quite a few armies, and we've had some other people come in here and talk about how many they have. It's just kind of neat to hear how much cool stuff everyone else in the hobby space has. Okay, this is not sticking together. Why are you not? There we go. It's because I can't align things. So he is eventually going to have some guns on him, and I'm just going to chop off the arms where they need to be chopped off, but that can go over in the corner for now. I'll continue working on him later. This guy needs a handlebar. Where is the handlebar on here? Well, I've got one right there. So I think this one... No, I need to put the other one together first. This one, I'm going to put the other guy together, the other rider together. And then I can start having some fun with these guys' arms. Death Guard, Tau, Orcs, Tyranids, Leaves of Votann, Thousand Suns, Creations of Bile, and Scythes of the Emperor. Were Scythes of the Emperor a thing that was created for the Fabius Bile book? Or not the Fabius Bile book, oh my god. The, why can't I remember his name now? The Admech guy. I love him. I cannot remember his name for Belisarius Cawl. They are a successor to the Ultramarines that are on, I can't remember the name of the planet, but it has the Pharos on it. I just got through reading the book because of the Adeptus Ridiculous book club, and a friend of mine who plays Admech, he read Belisarius Cawl, The Great Work, as like his first ever 40k book, and he really liked it. Sotha, that's what it was, the planet Sotha. The planet Sotha could not catch a break. But yeah, were they actually mentioned prior to The Great Work, or was that the first book where you really heard about them? Because I know it opens with them having survived a Tyranid invasion. And like the last of their chapter go down and deal with a I don't even remember. I'm kind of flighty today because I had to take like an asthma test, and it really messed with my general cognizance. So you might see me acting a little loopy on stream. You learned about them from a poster? Fair enough. Yeah, they're really heckin' cool. They had If you read Belisarius Cawl, The Great Work by any chance? Because if you haven't, oh, you should. I know it's centered around Cawl, but the Scythes of the Emperor play a fairly major part in the book, and they're all awesome. They have one who follows Cawl around, who is a Primaris character, right? So he is dealing, and I mean the book came out pretty early in the introduction of Primaris, so it was kind of neat to see how the Primaris as characters were adjusting and adapting to being in this world that's been having war for 10,000 years. So you had that, and then you had the Fabius Bile Omnibus. I keep hearing it's good, and I actually saw it at the bookstore over the weekend, but I am completely out of money, so I could not afford it. But it's a really good book. When you have the chance, you should give it a read. It is kind of weird hearing just all of the blatant advertising and product placement they have in it, which, you know, it makes sense. It's a book to sell minis. But they proper noun everything in that book, and it comes across quite heavy-handed, which I think is very silly. But it's very obvious in Belisarius Cawl, The Great Work. Oh, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. I'm technically an affiliate, but I haven't done anything with that information, so I don't have like emotes or anything in relation to like subscribing or whatever. So please, God, don't subscribe. I have nothing to offer other than watching me do this and ramble incoherently about whatever's on my mind. But I do appreciate the follow. I try and stream on weekdays, on Monday through Thursday, from about 4:30, 5 o'clock to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, because I am based out of Virginia. Okay, so goodbye, ARM. You are not needed for this army. What? But yeah, I went to the local Barnes & Noble and was immediately stunned to find out that they had what books did they had? They had the Saturnine, they had the Fabius Bile Omnibus, they had and they had the Eisenhorn Omnibus. And I've wanted to read all three of those, and they normally don't have jack squat. So I really wanted to get it, but again, no money, so not able to. Okay, we're gonna park this guy's butt in here. Just smear that all over there. But yeah, I live on the East Coast. I live in Virginia, so that's when I typically am able to stream. Most of the people that follow me, I don't know if this is oddly enough, because I first started kind of promoting my channel on another channel that's in Britain, but most of the people that follow me are definitely not in the United States, so it's very strange knowing that I have more fans across the ocean than I do stateside. More fans, more followers. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this Drek on here. So this I am not overly fond of. Okay, so that's gonna go like that. Now let's see what guns I can put on this guy. Unfortunately, not that one. Wow, I can't really put any guns on him, can I? What is he supposed to have on him? Okay, let's go ahead and take all this stuff. Put that out there. So of the armies you got, which is your favorite one to pilot? Which one do you like playing the most? There we go. Clean that off. What guns do I have available for this gentleman? Holy moly, I don't even know. What's that one? That's really cool. Oh man, are you kidding me? So it had to be one of those guys. In that case, I'm going to take the pistol off of the cap. My favorite one to play is Death Guard because it makes my friend hate me. What particular prejudice do they have against the Death Guard? Oh, there is a right-handed pistol. Okay. Guess I'm going to do the right-handed pistol now. Yeah, there was when they got gosh, it wasn't Armor of Contempt, but was it when they got Armor of Contempt? I don't remember. But I had gotten the Blightlord Terminators right before Armor of Contempt, I believe it was. And my friends found out really quick, do not let the Blightlord Terminators anywhere near anything they own. I used 2 Blight Haulers, 5 Terminators, and a Chaos Lord at 500 points. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll definitely do it. That's a lot of hatred to be spewing at someone. Yeah, back when their bubotic axes were really good, I was using the Blightlord Terminators against armies that were not ready to deal with the Blightlord Terminators. And so it was very fun watching that ridiculousness, you know, come into play. Yoink! Say goodbye to that hand. Okay. Okay, we're just gonna go ahead and dig that in there. I'm going to have to very quickly fashion a an elbow for this guy. He always plays orcs, so I had the not dying aspect. Yeah, Jesus. Take away one of the things the orcs does well, why don't you? Yeah, one of my friends, he plays orcs, and he doesn't really get a chance to play unless he's down here. And just for kicks and giggles one time, I brought out Mortarion, and it completely wiped out quite a few of his guys before they had a chance to respond, and they weren't able to do anything. I can't believe that it's already 6 o'clock. I was not ready for it to be 6 o'clock. I have so many things left I want to do. You built Mortarion last Friday. I bet that was fun. Mortarion was one of my first big models, and I was just good enough to paint him that he ended up looking really good, because I was a solid painter when I did that, and I wish I was a better painter. You know what I mean? And I really want to repaint him, but I made the mistake of just kind of adding crap onto him, like texture paints and whatnot, that I really can't get rid of without a much bigger tub of alcohol. So he's kind of stuck looking the way he is. Come on. Bend the way I want you to. Bend to my will. But he still looks really darn good. Your first big model was a Riptide. Very cool. Mine was either a Knight Valiant or him. I don't remember which. But they were definitely a place to start. Okay, now we're gonna take this. This is gonna look so stupid. Actually, wait a minute. No, these guys were gonna have normal heads. Dang it. Okay, that's fair. I messed up. I wonder, can I actually just replace the arm? Now that I'm thinking about it, no, that's the wrong arm. Is it the wrong arm? I forgot, 2 of these guys were gonna have normal arms because they were normal people. So I think, no, that's supposed to be this elbow. So he actually is gonna need to have his arm back. Okay, I can make that work. The other arm, though, is a bit of a lost cause. I have no clue where that went. That's okay. When I use my friend always beats me when your friend always beats you when you use anything but Death Guard. That's really impressive to hear, because, like, the Tau have really, really good shooting now. And, like, the auto-immortal wounds and all that stuff. And, wait, let me look at your armies again. Orcs, Tyranids, Votann, Thousand Suns, Creation of Bile, Size of the Emperor. Yeah, I'd figure that the Tau, and the Votann would do pretty well, but you know, I don't know what kind of meta you guys have going on, so I'm glad the Death Guard are giving someone that much grief, though. It just warms my rotten little cockles. Okay, let's see if I can fix this now that I screwed up. Votann almost beat his Eldar. Yeah, stupid elves. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and glue this on, because I apparently did not heck it up too badly, and I can still connect this crap together. So that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna get reconnected back there, and what's gonna happen is that the spray paint is gonna hide the rest. Okay, are you the other arm? No, you're that. I have lost his other gun arm. This sucks. Okay, I'm gonna have to figure this out before I head out. I was also gonna take a photo of my army, but I completely forgot to. Is this it? Did I find your other arm? No, I did not find your other arm. That's a left arm. What about you? You're a right arm, but you're not the right arm. I have no idea what that other arm with. Hey, you guys see it? I know I'm asking the wrong person, but the wrong people, because you probably can't see any of that fun stuff, but worth a shot. Okay. Very unfortunate. So it's not you. I need to head to bed, enjoy the rest of the stream. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Pilkey. Have a good evening. Oh, this is his other arm. I'm going to be checking out soon, too, so have a good one. Have a good evening. Okay. Okay. We're going to do that. We're just going to glue his gun arm back on there, which should work okay. But first, I'm going to glue his gun arm right there. Yep, it's going to just barely fit in there. It completely skipped my mind that I was doing 2 actual Votann as part of this build, because I don't have enough spaceship helmets, or like spacesuit helmets. So a couple of these guys were going to have to look relatively normal. And that's perfectly okay. I apologize if you guys haven't been able to see much of anything, but other than watching me panic, there hasn't been much to see. So thankfully, the cut was clean enough that I was able to do that. Now, what I think I'm going to do is I've got these 2 heads that I'm eventually going to put on, But both of these heads, I'm going to paint off the model. So they're just going to stay here for now. The other thing, I hope, and I'm almost sure I did, but I hope I did not snip off the handlebars, the arm from the handlebars, because I have no clue where that stuff went. He's going there. He's going here. Actually, I can go ahead and put you on here. It'll be fine. And you can just go right here on this little guy. He's just a little guy. Where are the other handlebars? I'm losing my mind here. I don't know where anything is anymore. That's it, that's it. There's going to be one more with the left hand. I cannot find. Not on here. Not that I can see. Not on this one. That one has the other thing. So I am now missing. Is it under here? Aha! I was smart. I did not take off the arm here. So we're just going to go ahead and shave this down. Gently. Okay, so there we go. Don't try and do it all at once when it's a big chunk, ladies and gents. Otherwise, you have a good chance of slicing open your hand. Do it bit by bit. And that way, you will not lose a finger. Okay. Did I clean you up? I did clean you up. Very nice. So now, get a bunch of this crap on here. Throw you on here. Let that dry for a minute. Wow, now that I look at it, he is coming apart. Why are you not sticking together, friendo? Everything seems to have glued down okay. Very strange. What's going to happen here is I definitely need to put more on the seat. Put him back in the seat. And get a little bit on there. And a little bit in there. Get that in there. Like so. There we go. Okay, he's banking really hard. And I don't know if that's intentional or not, or if that's just me not putting this together properly. But that's going to be fine. And he is going to get shotgun. Because I really, really like the look of the shotguns. So he's going to get one of those. And that one's got his hand in the shotgun. Where's another piece with shotgun? This one has shotgun out, but he doesn't have shotgun pointing. I don't really need shotgun pointing. I don't know, if you guys have ever seen Terminator 2 Judgment Day, you probably know why I'm so obsessed with shotgun. Great movie, great fun. But yeah, I kind of wonder how they're going to handle the Votann in 10th edition, because they were so heckin' strong throughout, like, all of 9th edition when they came out. If I recall properly, they, like, immediately nerfed their Judgment Token stuff. And while they haven't been fantastic, they've still been a very strong force. I could be wrong, though. It's been a little while since I paid attention to the tournament meta of 40k. So I'm not going to pretend like I have a strong idea of that stuff. Okay, now this is going on. As fun as this is, I have no desire for him to have that. Instead, he's going to be reaching in to the holster with the other shotgun, because I didn't realize that I had to have one left-handed and two right-handed Pikers. So that's gonna go like so, And hopefully I can get this on without causing too much trouble. That's going to go there. Last thing I'm going to need is... Where is the last shotgun? There it is! It's going to go there. It's going to go there. We're going to shave down this little bit because we don't want to have these yucky bits on the model. So that looks pretty good. Hey, Rocky Dolphin, thank you for joining. Thank you for subscribing. Not subscribing, following. Holy crap. Don't subscribe, please. I have nothing to offer. Appreciate you being here, though. Unfortunately, I'm about to hop off after I finish doing this bit, because I need to go have dinner. But right now, I am just having a whole lot of fun putting together these Votann and their silliness. So I'm assuming... Yeah, I don't even need to assume. It just fits in right there. So, perfect. Beautiful. Exactly what I needed. The way I'm doing this is that these guys are all going to be Among Us. So I need to get rid of all of the arms that I can, since Among Us do not have arms. And I need to put in as much floating hands as I can. The only ones that are not going to be Among Us are going to be anyone with like a humanoid head. So there are a few crewmates, or there are a few Votann where I just couldn't get human you know, the crewmate heads on them. So that's what they're going to look like. What else do I need to do? I think the next thing is actually setting up the turret on the back of the middle rider, which I'm not ready to do yet. So most likely, this just gives me so much joy. That's going to have to be it for me. I had other plans, but I ran out of time since I was too busy futzing around with these guys. So thank you for joining me, guys. Let's see who else is online, because I don't do a whole lot of raids, and I really should, just for kicks and giggles. Mini painting? Next level painting. Is anyone online? Jeez, using mini painting tomorrow. Good enough painting. Paint their own miniatures as well as create a safe and open space to introduce people to the hobby. Positivity to the art community. Are they streaming right now? No, they are off. They are offline. This does not help me. Past videos? No, I want current streaming. Let's see. I have no idea how to look for that stuff. Warhammer. Let's just put in Warhammer and see what people got going on. Well, Jimmy the Brush is streaming, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and throw my stuff over at Jimmy the Brush. And you guys are more than welcome to stick along. And if you don't, then you don't have to. But let's do this. So, /raid. Am I just supposed to put their name, or am I supposed to put it in brackets? Jimmy the Brush. I suppose I'll find out very, very soon. Okay, apparently it's working. Thanks again, guys. Tell them Benry Paint says hi, and I hope they're having a good time. I hope you have a good time. I'll see you later. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.